Oh, I'm sorry, and I think I've mentioned this to most groups. Make sure you...
We're doing Wiley and the Hairy Man.
It was a long time ago.
Wiley and his mother lived near a swamp. The swamp was near the top of the river.
One day, Wiley wanted to cut some bamboo.
He needed poles for the handles. He got his axe to go down to the swamp.
Wiley's mother said,
Wiley, be careful when you go to the swamp. Take your hound dogs with you. The Hairy Man will get you if you don't watch out.
Wiley's mother knew the hairy man hated him.
She knew because she knew all about the ways of the swamp. She had grown up there on the top of the river.
Wiley said,
I'll watch out. I'll take my hound dogs with me everywhere I go.
but when he got to the swamp, his dogs saw a wild pig. They ran after it.
They ran so far away, Wiley couldn't even hear them yell.
Well, I hope the hairy man isn't around here.
Wiley took his axe and began cutting poles.
But when he looked up, there was the hairy man.
He was coming through the trees.
He sure was ugly.
He was hairy all over.
His eyes burned like coals.
His teeth were big and sharp and white.
He was swinging a stack.
Quick as he could, Wiley climbed up the big gray tree.
Wiley had seen that the hairy man had feet like a cow, and Wiley knew a cow couldn't climb up a tree.
The hairy man stood at the foot of the tree.
Wiley, what you doing up there?
My mama told me to stay away from you. What's in your big old sack?
Nothing yet.
The hairy man picked up Wiley's axe and began to chop down the tree.
Wiley held tight to the tree. He rubbed his belly against it and hollered.
Fly, chips, fly. Fly back to your same old place. The chips flew back.
The hairy man chopped faster.
Wiley hollered as fast as she could.
Fly, chips, fly. Fly back to your same old place. The chips flew back even faster.
But the hairy man was faster yet, and he was winning.
Then, from way far off, Wiley heard his hound dogs yelping.
Here, dogs! The dogs came running.
As soon as the hairy man saw them,
He fled away into the swamp.
When Wiley got home, he told his mother what had happened.
did the hairy man have a sack with him?
Yes, ma'am, he did.
Well, the next time the hairy man comes after you, don't climb a tree. Just stay on the ground and say, hello, hairy man. The hairy man will say, hello, Wiley. Then you say, I hear you're the best conjure man around here.
What's conjure?
It's magic. You tell him he is the best conjure man, and he'll say, I reckon I am. Then you say, I bet you can't change yourself into a giraffe, and he will change himself into a giraffe. Then you say, I bet you can't change yourself into an alligator, and he will change himself into an alligator. You keep telling him what he can't do, he'll keep doing it just to show you. Then you say, everybody can change into something big. I bet you can't change yourself into a little possum. He will change into a little possum. You grab him right away and throw him into his sack. Then you take the sack and throw it into the swamp. Wiley was scared to do what his mother said.
But the next time he had to go to the swamp, he tied up his hound dogs with good stout rope.
As soon as he got to the swamp, Wiley saw the hairy man.
He was coming at him through the trees.
He was swinging his sack.
He was grinning because he knew Wiley had left his hound dogs behind.
Wiley wanted to run away, but he stayed right there. He said,
Hello, hairy man.
And the hairy man said,
Hello, Wiley.
Hairy man, I hear you're the best conjure man around here.
I reckon I am.
I bet you can't change yourself into a giraffe.
Sure I can. That's no trouble at all.
The hairy man twisted around, whoop,
and changed himself into a giraffe.
Then Wiley said,
I bet you can't change yourself into an alligator.
The giraffe twisted around, whoop,
And changed himself into an alligator.
So Wiley said, everybody can change into something big. I bet you can't change yourself into a little possum.
the alligator twisted around, whoop,
And changed himself into a little possum.
Wiley grabbed the possum and threw it in the hairy man's sack.
He tied the sack as tight as he could.
Then he threw the sack in the Tombies River.
Wiley started back home through the swamp, but he hadn't gone far.
When there was the hairy man again, he was coming at Wiley.
Wiley climbed up the beech tree.
How did you get out, hairy man? I changed myself into the wind, and I blew my way out. Now I'm going to wait right down here. You'll get hungry, and you'll come down out of that tree. Wiley thought and thought.
He thought about the hairy man waiting below.
He thought about his hound dogs tied up at home with that good stout rope.
After a while, Wiley said,
Hairy man, you did some pretty good tricks.
"But I bet you can't make things disappear."
Huh, that's what I'm best at. See that bird's nest on that branch? Wiley looked. It was there.
Whoop! It was gone. Oh, I never saw it in the first place. But I bet you can't make something I know is there disappear.
Look at your shirt, Wiley. Whoop! Wiley's shirt was gone.
Well, that was just a plain old t-shirt. But this rope around my pants is magic. My mama conjured it. I bet you can't make this rope disappear.
I can make all the rope in this county disappear.
I bet you can't.
The hairy man threw out his chest, he opened his mouth wide, and hollered,
All the rope in this county disappeared. Whoop!
The rope around Riley's pants was gone.
He held up his pants with one hand, held onto the tree with another, and hollered, Here, dogs!
The dogs came running.
And the hairy man fled away.
When Wiley got home, he told his mother what had happened.
Well, you fooled the hairy man twice. If you can only fool him one more time, he'll never come back to bother us again. But he'll be mighty hard to fool the third time.
Wiley's mother sat down in her rocking chair, and she thought.
Wiley couldn't sit still. He went outside and tied up one dog at the front door.
He tied up the other dog to the back door.
Then he came inside and sat down and helped his mother think.
After a while, she said,
Wiley, go down to the pen and bring me back a young pig. Wiley went down to the pen and brought her back a piglet.
She put the piglet in Wiley's bed.
Now, Wiley, you go up to the loft and hide.
Wiley climbed up to the loft.
He looked out front through a knothole in a plank. He saw a great big animal run out of the swamp toward the house.
The dog out front broke loose. It chased the animal back into the swamp.
Wiley looked out back through the crack between the planks. He saw another animal run out of the swamp toward the house.
The other dog broke loose and chased the animal back into the swamp.
The wind howled. The house shook.
Wiley heard footsteps.
It was a hairy man.
He walked right up to the front door and banged on it.
Mama, I've come for your youngling.
You can't have him, hairy man.
I'll set your house on fire with lightning. I'll burn it down if you don't give him to me.
I have plenty of sweet milk, hairy man. The milk will put out your fire.